Hey guys, it's Dylan from Clueless Gamers, or Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Video. For those of you that don't know that we're expecting to see the Seto Kaiba video, the video that blew up, you will get to see it. Just wanted to make a quick announcement. This is on a different channel than it was originally uploaded. This is my backup channel. It's a secondary channel that I just created this week. For those of you that don't know, my Kaiba video was taken down by Nihon Ad Systems. It was the same company that happened to take down Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro and Dev Pro and those dueling network sites this week. So they went on a rampage a couple weeks ago, and they took down a lot of things. So I thought it was kind of unfair. I thought fair use protected it. Reached out to YouTube, and they did absolutely nothing, as I guess you can kind of guess at this point. But I'm gonna re-upload the video. Now what I did is there are no clips. There is no Yu-Gi-Oh! Music. I'm using like copyright-free music. And all the images are fan art. 3 people reached out to me: Sayaka Kamishiro, Anna Draws, and Mr. Greatness. I cannot thank you 3 enough. I will leave their descriptions down, their channels, their DeviantArts, all down in the description below. Thank you guys so much. The art came out great. I reached them. They all reached out to me about possibly doing fan art after I got the strike. I got back to them, and in like I said you only have 4 or 5 days. If you could draw Yuya and Kaiba, I would love it, and that's what they did, and it came out, I think, terrific. I'm not an artsy person at all, so whenever someone can make fan art, it really just is over my head, so I cannot thank you guys enough for reaching out to me. So definitely check them out. They're wonderful people, and so if you were expecting a really great video, great quality, not really going to have it, because again, there's really no Yu-Gi-Oh! Music. I like to use themes that kind of fit with what the tone that I'm saying, and I thought the music I used in this video was well done last time. There's no clips either. I'll have a 10-second black screen saying what episode I'm referring to, and you're more than welcome to look up that episode yourself. Now, when I made this theory, it was about episode 90 in Arc 5. I thought it had the potential to go 180 episodes. I knew it was still a long shot, this theory. We're at episode 114. We know there's only about 30 episodes left. This theory is not coming true. I'm well aware of that, but I'm just kind of re-uploading it for nostalgia purposes. A few people said they wanted me to send it to them because they didn't get a chance to see it, and this was the video that I'm well aware brought so many of you to my channel and so many of you great people to the community on my channel. So this video I felt I really should give an upload to and a re-upload to. So it's the same original audio that was used, just no clips, no music, and no pictures, but the fan art will more than suffice. So that's pretty much it. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy my theory that Seto Kaiba is the main villain in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. Hey guys, it's Dylan from Clueless Gamers, and welcome to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Video. Now this one is a bit different. I have done all top 5 lists previously, but decided it was an appropriate time to roll out my first Yu-Gi-Oh! Theory video, I guess you could call it. And obviously by the title it has to do with the current Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. Now I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, what the hell is this guy talking about? Seto Kaiba, the main villain in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5? Kaiba hasn't even been mentioned in the show. Well, this is why I love theory videos, and I hope to convince a few of you that my thoughts on this are not as outlandish as they may initially seem. Now, this video will contain plot spoilers up to episode 97, so if you don't want any spoilers on Arc 5 and are waiting to watch it, I suggest stopping the video here and coming back to it when you have delved into Arc 5. Anyway, as always, let's get right to the theory that Seto Kaiba is the main antagonist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. So where do we start with this crazy theory? Well, I think an appropriate place to look is right at the current antagonist in Arc 5. It's probably safe to say that if you asked 100 Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans, 70 of them would say Ryo Akiba is the main villain, 10 of them would say it's his son Reggie, and 10 of them would say it's Yuya's dad Yusho. At least besides Ryo, those are the other 2 prominent names I have seen among forums and Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans. Then the remaining 10 would probably pick some crazy character that has yet to make an appearance, or someone that would make no sense like a Serena or Sora. Then again, I guess I have no right to say a character makes no sense, since I am one of those remaining 10 people picking a seemingly random villain in Kaiba. Anyway, why did I just do that? Well, to highlight that many people would assume Ryo Akiba is the main villain. After all, he seems to fit the case. He's extremely vague, not much background, he seems to be behind Academia's invading of other dimensions. However, I have suspicion that Ryo Akiba is not the one in charge, but more of a figurehead, a puppet, if you will. I find it extremely interesting that everyone refers to him as the Professor, and not with a more prestigious term like Chancellor or even Dean, Master. Yeah, Professor is a stout term, don't get me wrong, but it reminds me a lot of Professor Kronos from GX, which is a fair comparison since this is based off the Duel Academy from GX. But forget the Professor comparison. Ryo Akiba really reminds me of Chancellor Shepard, who is also the head of his own respective school in GX. the resemblance and even the roles they both take on are very similar, except Shepard wasn't a psychotic maniac trying to make all the dimensions unite by destroying cities and murdering people. But anyway, you get the point. I'll get back to this point in a little bit. Right now I want to spend some time talking about how Kaiba ties into all of this, and kind of make both points merge towards the end. So where to start with good old Blue Eyes White Dragon lover Seto Kaiba? Well, I guess I'll address some critics first. I'm sure a good amount of you are probably thinking Seto Kaiba, or any Duel Monster character for that matter, have no dimension of their own, assuming they don't exist in Standard, and Kaiba is way too major of a character to be brought into the show. Well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has never been known to use any cameo appearances from previous series, but Arc 5 has completely changed that dynamic. We have had 2 major characters in 5Ds, 2 from GX, and so far only 1 confirmed from Zexal, but I would be shocked if we didn't get a second major Zexal character announced in the upcoming weeks. The character from Zexal is Kaido. Besides the protagonist Yuma, was probably the most important character in the show. Jack Atlas from 5Ds, besides Yusei, probably the most important character. Asuka Tenjoin from GX, besides Judai, probably the most important character. Okay, I couldn't even get through that line without laughing, but you get the picture. Besides GX, TV Tokyo has not shied away at all from the idea of bringing major characters into the show, so I do not think Kaiba is too big of a character for them to bring in. In fact, from a business standpoint, this is a genius move what TV Tokyo is doing. All the fans who maybe have stopped paying attention to Yu-Gi-Oh! Could very well rewatch this anime just for these cameos. If you loved Edo or Asuka from GX, or just GX in general, and here they'll be in Arc 5, it will definitely make people want to watch Arc 5. Duel Monsters was obviously the most popular show, and fans that haven't paid attention in a decade hear Seto Kaiba and maybe a Joey Wheeler are returning, they would go crazy. This is a genius and well-implemented business move by TV Tokyo, and I see no reason from that perspective why you wouldn't have Duel Monsters characters appearing in Arc 5 at some point. Now, the next criticism against this theory is probably the timeline. It makes sense that there are 5Ds, GX, and Zexal characters because they each have their own dimension, while Yuya and company have their dimension in Standard. Now, here's where it gets very dicey. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Timeline is a nightmare to try and figure out. After Arc 5 ends, I do plan on doing one of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos in depth explaining the timeline, but for now, I guess this is a bit of a preview. So, 4 dimensions, right? Well, maybe not. Here's what Bastion Misawa has to say in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX episode 147. So there you go, 12 dimensions, not 4. And I know you can argue that Arc 5 and GX are on different timelines, but this picture would suggest something else entirely. Notice the last required class to take at the Leo Duel School. They all seem to be based off of a previous protagonist, suggesting that this is the same dimension GX took place in, just way, way in the future. Yet how else would the school know about, super polymerization and the adventures of, Yusei Fudo and Yuma Tsukumo? It's all right there. And so, unless 8 dimensions magically disappeared, I have a feeling that maybe they're minor dimensions, and maybe the 4 major ones are the ones Academia is targeting. I don't want to spend too much time on this in this video, but the point I'm trying to make is Arc 5 takes the timeline and flushes it down the toilet. You really cannot and should not be surprised if anything crazy happens, including the infamous Seto Kaiba making an appearance as the main villain. So now, why do I think Seto will be a villain? Well, some of the stuff he says in the original anime sounds very evil. Take a listen. So in that clip, he talks about craving the power to dominate everything. Maybe dominate every existing dimension and become the one universal leader. We all know Seto had a massive craving for power more than anything else, and let's see what he does when he loses his own tournament during the Battle City arc. Blows up his own island, almost killing everyone on it, including himself and his younger brother, and then maniacally laughs about it as he flies away. I don't know how I didn't realize how dark Seto actually is. Unstable and power hungry. I think you guys see what I'm getting at. Before I give what I think is the key to linking this entire theory, I want to show you one other clip from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! This one is from the very first episode, actually.
「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」「君の声が聞こえる」
So even after Yugi shatters the evil in Kaiba's heart, he is still a very twisted human being. Now, why did I just show you that? Well, it's very important to note that as far as we know, the main characters Yugi, Judah, Yusei, and Yuma do not appear on these alternate timelines, meaning their accomplishments and effects they had on characters do not exist. So in an alternate dimension, Yama Yugi never destroys the evil in Kaiba's heart. You've seen the clips I showed you demonstrating how unstable and power-hungry a Kaiba that had a mind crush from the Pharaoh is. Imagine a Kaiba that never had that evil destroyed. Okay, so here it is. Finally, in my opinion, the missing piece of the puzzle. We have to think, what are the Academy's true motives? In Arc 5, it's clear, unify all dimensions peacefully or by forceful invasion. But I have to ask, what was the Academy's purpose in GX? Just to train new duelists and make them professional, right? Well, that's what I've always believed, and that's what you're led to believe, unless you catch this one line from Chancellor Shepard during the final episode of Season 3. That's right, the main goal of the Academy in GX was not to open its doors with open arms and take in a bunch of young duelists to train them and turn them into pros. It was to learn more about the dimensions. Now, remember the point I made about Ryo Akiba and Chancellor Shepard in the beginning about both of them being puppets? Not being the true leader of the current mission, but just a figurehead? Well, here's the bombshell that I'm sure most of you already know. Who opened the Academy in GX? Who owns Duel Academy? The building on the private island whose sole purpose is to learn more about the other dimensions. That's right, Seto Kaiba. Kaiba is already linked to Duel Academy in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Timeline. It's his company. He opened it because he wanted to learn more about the other dimensions. Now, possibly a different version of Kaiba, whose evil is uncontained because of Aten's absence, is running rampant and has gotten all the information he needs to know about the other dimensions. To learn how to teleport back and forth, to learn how to invade, to learn how to conquer, to learn how to unify, and become the one true leader of the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed. Obviously, if you were watching this after Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 has ended and this didn't come to fruition, I'm sure I look and sound like a fool, but I do hope a few of you can say, this is definitely more possible than you probably thought it was when you first saw the video title. Please subscribe to the channel for weekly Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos and breaking Yu-Gi-Oh! News updates, and most importantly, let me know what you thought of this theory, and what are your theories about who the main villain is. You know I love hearing from you guys. Any suggestions, please leave them down below, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time.